So I want to explore something that many book readers know, but movie fans do not. That Middle-earth is dying. And yet, the films don't convey that, and that's not necessarily wrong. It might actually make them more human in a way. Lord of the Rings isn't just an adventure. It's a story of a world in decline. But the films don't really feel like that. And that difference reveals something very powerful about Tolkien, the fandom, and us who read the books and watch the movies or do both. Tolkien didn't build Middle-earth as a neutral fantasy setting. He was building it as a fallen world according to his own experiences and faith. I think mostly from his experiences, though. From the moment that Melkor corrupted the music of the Ainur, or more accurately, when Uru-Ilúvatar chose not to repair it afterwards, the entire timeline starts to slowly unravel, as it were. Even Almarin, the Valar's first successful shaping of the world, was already lesser than it was originally intended to be, because the blueprint was compromised. Every age that followed, the wars of Beleriand, the drowning of Númenor, and the removal of Valinor accelerated that decline. The magic faded, peoples dwindled, and wonders vanished. So that by the time of the Third Age and the books, Middle-earth is a continent of ruins and memories, basically. Even Aragorn's reign isn't a reset. It's a bookmark, a tombstone for ages that few to no one remembers, and that puts a somber tone on what should have been. And this is the Tolkien that many film fans never meet or hear about. If you enter Tolkien through the films, like many of us, myself included, you don't get the full weight of Arda Marred. The closest that the movies actually come to this is in the Fellowship's early journey in Fellowship of the Ring. The Shire's innocence, the ruins of Arnor, the fading realms of the elves, the alien beauty of Rivendell, and Lothlorien. But once the adventure kicks in, the films shift focus. Instead of reflecting on the grander and older and ancient designs and remnants of a world that is passing, they emphasize danger, the heroism and emotional stakes of the moment that the Fellowship is in. There's no time to mourn the bones of civilizations under their feet, no time to reflect on that fading magic. The movies carry somberness, yes, but not the slow decay of a dying world receding into just normalcy. And if anything, the movies tend to celebrate normalcy. They praise the simple life, and they elevate hope, and that difference matters. Because some fans argue, does that mean that the films missed Tolkien's original intentions? And many argue, yes. In fact, J.R.R. Tolkien's own son, Christopher Tolkien, famously criticized the trilogy as action movies, suggesting that they had lost the deeper melancholy of the legendarium that his father was trying to build. And it's true. Tolkien's worldview was shaped by trauma. 2 world wars, a Catholic faith, and a lifetime of watching modernity erode the ancient beauty that he had grown up in and had wished had happened. Therefore, the sense of decline is baked into his mythology. But the question I want to raise is not feeling that somberness really a bad thing? Because Tolkien didn't only write about despair. He wrote about hope in spite of despair. He also wrote about loyalty, courage, and brotherhood as answers to a broken world or a world that was falling apart. And this happens throughout most of his stories across Middle-earth's history. The film just amplifies those answers. Because the fact of the matter is that the ordinary people in Middle-earth didn't feel Arda Marred. Think about the Edain that migrated into Beleriand, or the people of Eriador living peacefully before Sauron's wars. Think about the people of Lake Town living under the shadow of the mountain. Most of them didn't know that the world was less than it should have been. They didn't know the metaphysics of the music or anything that happened with that. They didn't feel any sense of cosmic decline. And even the elves, who may have sensed it, only sensed a portion of that. And in truth, only the Valar would have grasped that entirety of that and no one even knew that they existed, or at least few did, but none had ever seen them since the First Age. These people just lived and hoped and tried to build something better in spite of sometimes the chaos that was happening around them. And that's exactly the point that drew modern fans into Tolkien's legendarium. The idea of hope in despite of chaos. The idea that just because that everything is a catastrophe doesn't mean it will always remain that way if you stand up and fight for it. To fight for what's right. To fight for that better world. The movies, I don't think, erase Tolkien's melancholy, but translate it into something that is more accessible. Something that resonates with people, both real and fictional, who need hope more than they need a metaphysical sense of despair. And that's no criticism on Tolkien. That's just where many modern viewers and modern fans are at. And if they do want to get that more deeper sense of Arda Marred, they can always go to the books, which is how I got into this. This is Miller Philosopher. Have a good day.